Hi plant buddies! If you're new to the channel, my name is Christine from these Succulent Buddies, and you're now watching part 2 of my tour of my succulents under my grow lights. So these are all the succulents under shelf number 2, and if you guys haven't seen part 1 of this video, episode number 38 on these Succulent Buddies is the tour of that shelf right there. So now we're gonna focus on this shelf right here. Those are my grow lights, and at the end of my tour of all my succulents under my grow lights, which are those, and those, I'll show them to you in other videos, but this week we will focus on this shelf right here. So let me go ahead and take them off the shelves so that you guys can see it clearly, because it's kind of hard to show you when they are right up under the lights. Let's start with this cluster right here. This is called an Echeveria Rignoni Silver Onion. I beheaded the original mother plant so that the stem could make even more stem babies, and this is normally what you end up with. This is why I am such a big fan of beheading. If you've seen all my other videos, a lot of them involve taking cuttings and then keeping the original stem so that I could propagate faster and make more babies. And this is what happens after a few months. Those babies just keep growing and multiplying. As you can see, when I get up close, the stress colors are starting to show. This is because of the exposure, long exposure under the grow lights, and I actually had to add more lights to it because before that they were just kind of a sad green. But when I added an extra set of grow lights on the shelf that these guys are under, everything actually started to get more compact and show its stress colors. So when I say to adding more lights, what I'm talking about is this. Originally I only had one set, this first one right here, and then I actually had to add a second one on each shelf in order for all my succulents to receive enough light indoors. Next, I have here 2 pots of string of pearls that I am still needing to repot, and I will do that soon. But look, there's a lot of new growth. Cute. So next, I have here a cluster of Echeveria Subcessa Morning Beauty, also a product of succulent propagation by beheading. I chopped off the original mother plant, and the stem grew a whole bunch of new babies for me. I will provide you some pictures of how it looked when the clusters first started growing with the mama plant. But yeah, this is a really nice cluster that have been growing under the grow lights, and as you can see, now that they're receiving more light, the new growth up top is more compact and stressed, unlike the bottom here when I didn't have enough lights on those shelves yet. Here we have a Grapetoberry subspecies Bernalens and a small overgrown pot that needs to be repotted of Sedum Tokyo Sun. These guys grow so fast and so easily, guys. You really need to add this to your collection if you don't have one yet. And then we move over here. These are one of my favorite succulents. This is called a Petulum Superbum right there. And then we have that one. This one is actually a purple delight that shouldn't be in there, but when they're small, they're kind of a little hard to tell apart. So I ended up putting this in this pot and it grew happily, so I just left it there. That was actually a leaf propagation. So there it is, my Grapetoberry Superbum. Not hard to care for if you don't tend to overwater, but if you forget to water your plants a lot, I swear this right here, this succulent right here, this can go months without water, and it actually really prefers it that way. Anyways, I beheaded these two when I first bought them, and I actually now have little clusters from their leftover stems here. Some I can't tell anymore, some are leaf propagations, but I believe 3 or 4 grew on the stem there. And then I have some other, you know, sometimes I'll take off leaves here and there at the very bottom when it tends to get leggy, and then I just drop it on that soil so it can start growing. This for sure, it was a leaf propagation. And these are stem, these are stem babies. There's 1 or 2 more under there. These are stem babies from when I chopped these guys' heads off. Okay, so again, that is a Grapetoberry Superbum. Right here is my Sedum Makinoi Ogon, Japanese Golden Sedum. That was the ID that came with this, and I have it under lights right now, but outdoors it was just a really nice like lime green, and it grew more compact because it got more sun. But under the lights, it sort of got a little bit leggy because these guys are major sun hoarders. Anyways, what I noticed after about a month under the lights, they are starting to turn red. The stress colors are red, so I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a dragon's blood, but I'm just a little surprised that they turned red. These guys have now been under my grow lights for a good month and a half now, and I think they have adjusted, but they still grow a lot better outdoors. Here I have our These Succulent Buddies logo arrangement that really needs to be repotted because this aloe delta dawn is seriously starting to take over. I will provide a picture of how it looked when I first put it together. Then over here we have another Echeveria Subcessa Morning Beauty, which was a lot bigger, but it did shrink a lot in the summer because I wasn't watering enough. And this one right here, I'm actually not quite certain whether it's an Echeveria lilacina or a Pollux. I did originally think it was a lilacina, but then as it grows, it is starting to resemble an Echeveria Pollux, but still beautiful nonetheless. Easy succulent to care for, barely needs any water, but be careful if you are still a little water happy. They can rot very easily with too much water. And then here I have some Eve's Needle and some sad Portulacaria afra, just the regular one, but don't worry, that will come back. And this is some type of Ripsalis, I'm not sure which one. Here I have an overgrown pot of Grapetoberry Pradives. I do need to repot them soon, but actually because the stems have grown so long in transition to getting used to the grow lights, it's going to behead it. That way those stems can grow new babies for me. But under lights, the colors are really starting to show, guys, and it's nice. It went from like a brown to a pink to a purplish tone, and now it's turning a little bit orange also. It's like every week the colors change under grow lights or outdoors. I mean, I love Grapetoberry Pradives. They are really easy, but I'm still trying to get the hang of how to water them properly under grow lights, because there is a little bit of a difference between growing them outdoors and indoors. I'm going to share with you watering tips in about a month or two when I really start to get used to how to water them properly without losing too much leaves, okay? Because right now I tend to be under watering them, and I'm slowly adding a little bit more water, being careful not to overwater them, because I have noticed that I'm having to actually water all these guys a lot more often than normal. These here, guys, are my Grapetoberry Purple Delights, my absolute favorites that are just so easy to grow for me. Barely needs any water, but they do still need to be watered once in a while, probably about once a month or less, depending on how hot it is outdoors if you are growing them outdoors. And then indoors they actually don't need a lot of water at all. Under my grow lights, I think I'm only having to water these Purple Delights about once a month or less. I'm still trying, like I said, I'm still trying to get the hang of watering them properly under my lights. I have some leaves that are propagating there. This was a leaf propagation right here. That is a stem baby, and that's a leaf that has already started growing. These are my mother plants. I think just one of them is my mother plant. I'm not sure if it's this one or this one, but all of these that you see here are either leaves from the mama plant or stem babies, and I just keep beheading and beheading, and they just keep growing. Although they don't seem to grow in clusters like the Reniones or the Grapetoberry Superbum, these only tend to give 1 or 2 babies per stem when you do behead them. But look at those stress colors. I actually have better stress colors outdoors when they are in full sun, but under lights they still do pretty well. I have noticed that with rainwater, doesn't matter how much rainwater they get, they just get really fat, and they don't tend to get overwatered. But indoors, you know, you give them a little too much water and you'll actually start losing bottom leaves, but they are still really nice. I find them a little bit more of a challenge to grow indoors because they do really like natural sunlight. But yeah, here they are, my purple delights. Right here is a Grapetoberry Murasaki that is now starting to lose leaves because it's using up the water stores in those leaves as it tries to grow new roots. And then this is the original stem that I cut it from. That's one of its leaves, and look, after less than 2 weeks, guys, it's actually already starting to grow a baby. This is in less than 2 weeks. I'm trying to see if there's any more, but oh, there's another one that's starting to grow. So this is really easy to propagate from stem when you do behead. I did leave a leaf. Actually, there was 2. It was this one, but it fell off. This makes it easier for me to know when this stem right here starts to need water, because then the leaves start showing me. And there you go. Hopefully this grows really well, and in the next future videos I'll be sure to give you guys update. This here is our fairy garden arrangement that we made a few videos ago. Obviously the sedum has grown back here. It's starting to spread apart, looking for more light, because it is a little bit more off to the side of my grow lights, but it's still growing nicely. These are my Sempervivums. I think this is called Jovi Varva or something like that, but I'm honestly not sure. This is a Sempervivum calcareum. It kind of lost its red on the tips because it does require more light than I am giving it. And then my Kalanchoe over here, these were cuttings that have rooted really well. So yeah, this arrangement seems to be doing well, and I can't wait until I can bring them back outdoors when the rainy season is over. So there you go, guys. That is part 2 of my succulent tour under my grow lights, and I will see you guys next week for shelf number 3. So here are all of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Ask me any questions you have about lights, or if you need me to repeat any of the IDs here. Again, this is Christine from These Succulent Buddies. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.